Hello loves, welcome back to my channel. I have been pondering all morning about this daily message because there's a lot to be said here. I have felt like pulled to your energy which just sounds so crazy because I know I haven't met a lot of you individually, in person or online even, and this feels like a really big important message. I was even just sitting here trying to really understand what it feels like to like put into words what it feels like to just be like experiencing your energy, witnessing you in your energy, even though I'm, there's a degree or two of separation here. And I was realizing I was really at a loss for words, and that felt like that actually made a lot of sense because you are not really somebody that can be fully understood. And I don't think that you're meant to. I think that you are such a special and powerful person, a force to be reckoned with, is what I'm hearing. That even if we tried, to sit here all day and fully grasp, fully try to understand your energy, I don't think we could. I think we're just too limited in our understanding of people and spirits and energies to fully put into words the kind of person that you are. I was actually feeling intimidated before starting this reading because I could tell that your energy is so special and so powerful. And I feel like you're probably not resonating with that word powerful, because actually what I was getting from just like my meditation on this reading and your energy was that you aren't fully aware of the person that you are, the spirit that you are, the energy that you have, which is like it's kind of cool to like be here witnessing that, because there's like a natural sense of humility and just kind of like a sweetness to it, kind of like when you meet those really quality people and you can tell that they don't fully know how quality they are, that it just kind of makes it even more authentic, and even more special because this is just how they've developed as a person, and that's you. Like you've just developed as a person. You aren't trying to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, maybe you were at times to like protect yourself, but this, really actually what I had gotten was that like you've been through such incredibly difficult things, and somehow you've come out this other side still remaining soft and I'm hearing like true to yourself. Yeah. Like you let it change you in the way where you learned from it, but you didn't let these trials change you. Which is really interesting. I did want to pull up really quick because I did have a few notes just as I was kind of pondering on this, so I'll have those pulled up. But like something that really stood out to me was that like you are such a light in this world, and whether or not you do realize that, I think a part of you knows how special you are. I think you're starting to get a little bit more clarity on that, but like the fact that you've gone through so much darkness and have come out the other side being so full of light, like being a light to other people and bringing light into people's lives. So like as I was, right before, I pulled just a few cards from the tarot deck just to kind of help orient me in this reading, because it feels like there's a lot more going on here. I'm just like gonna be scratching the surface in this video, and this video may be one of my longer ones, because I feel like there's a lot that's going to be, that you're gonna need to hear, that you're gonna want to hear. And I'm saying that because I think these other parts of you that don't know how special you are, these are the parts of you that really want to hear how special you are. And so I think that's what I'm here to do today. So when I was pulling just a few cards to kind of help, I just, asked Spirit, higher power, the trees, whoever I speak to, I don't know, just like what this reading was going to be about. There were 3 cards that came up, and this first one is the Star. I don't know if you have any interest in seeing what these cards look like, because they're a different kind of tarot deck. The first card that came out was the Star, and I was not even surprised that card came out. I mean, I was more surprised that it came out so quickly, but not that was the first card that came out, because when I have like sat with your energy before and like meditated on that for readings, that is often the card that comes out. So I already knew that you are a star in this world, and it is like the perfect symbol because of this darkness that you've gone through. So the next couple cards that came out were the Tower. My hand's totally shaking. I hope you can still see that though. I have no idea if these are focusing in on the Tower and the Chariot. So the Tower came out. I feel like I should share this first. Okay. What was interesting is all of these cards came out in the reverse, and I'm kind of new to tarot, so I don't do things like traditionally. I just kind of use these to like help me gain clarity, get some like direction, and I just kind of like let like a spirit or the trees, higher power, whoever it is that gives guidance, I just kind of like let that guide me through the cards. And at first I was a little bit confused by all of these cards coming out in the reversed position, and after I kind of sat with that for a minute, I realized it was communicating 2 different things to me. That one, that you don't know, you don't fully know like how special and powerful you are, and 2, that other people don't, and that other people don't realize the things that you've gone through, because they look at you and they see light and love and laughter, and also because like I've been thinking a lot this morning about how you've like gone through some things, some of the things that came to me, so not all of them will apply, but like take what resonates for you. Some of the things could be addiction, and maybe not even to substances, like different kinds of trauma, like abandonment or abuse or all kinds of things. Like you've gone through things that a lot of people haven't seen, and a lot of people haven't experienced, or experienced to the degree that you have. Or maybe if you are checking multiple things on this list of like trials and trauma that you've gone through, like they haven't gone through that full combination, that full list of things that you've gone through. And so it felt like symbolic of that like people don't fully understand like the darkness that you have walked through. And there's something really significant about that I know you have not been celebrated in the way that you deserve to be celebrated. Because people don't fully understand. And even if they knew the entire list of things that you've gone through, they weren't there. They didn't see it all. They didn't witness you and all that. And even if they witnessed you and all that, they weren't in your shoes. They didn't feel the loss and the heartache and the growing pains, like the growth that you have to go through. I mean, one, in order to survive this, right? And two, to like come out of this the other side. And it's almost like you have become so, I'm hearing steadfast, but I don't think that's fully depicting this here. Like you've become so, I'm hearing like embodied, like you're embodying yourself, or full-bodied steadfastness. I think you'll get the idea here. You have become so, like you're stepping into yourself, you're becoming so much yourself that like a lot of people can't tell a lot of the things that you've gone through, and would probably be pretty surprised that you've gone through those things. That there's actually a couple more things that I took away from this like symbolism of these cards being in the reverse, that I think this was recent, and you're probably thinking, no, this happened like months or years ago. But time doesn't mean anything. I mean, some people might argue that, I don't know if this is the right example to use, but this is what's coming to me, like the Twin Towers are not recent. Because yeah, it came from, sorry, my dog's getting comfy over here by me. This feels like, my dog coming over here kind of feels like a confirmation of you're here with me right now. And so if you're still here in this reading, this was definitely meant for you. Okay, so this recency, months or years ago, yeah, the Twin Towers is what I was talking about. How like some people might argue, okay, that happened, what is that, 24 years ago? That's not recent anymore, but it's such a vivid memory for so many people who were old enough to remember this happening. It's such a vivid memory, and was so traumatic that, I mean, it's taken so many years. It doesn't ever fully go away. So the part of you that might be saying, oh, this happened months or even years ago, I'm feeling like the nudge, the push to remind you that the time does not matter, that you've gone through hard things. I'm actually getting that, like, you've kind of been one of those people who just like literally I'm seeing like a visual, picking yourself up off the ground and just like dusting yourself off and moving forward, like almost as if nothing even happened. One, because you're that resilient, and two, because life has kind of forced you to do that. Like you didn't have time to like fully rest and recover. That I think this is where it's tying back to this celebration. Like, you haven't had time to rest, recover, or even celebrate yourself. And I think that might be because, like, this reversal, it feels like you don't fully see. You might get a feeling of it, but you don't fully see, like, how seriously incredible you are. Like, it is intimidating how incredible, and I keep wanting to say powerful, like, the fact that you can go through so many things and come out the other side still being a light in this world, and being an even brighter light because of it, instead of getting, like, swallowed up in this darkness. I don't think you understand, like, the kind of power, like, internal power, spiritual power it takes to be able to do that. Like, so this I don't want this reading to be rushed. If at some point I feel like I need to make a part 2, I might, but I do think no matter what, we'll end up having more readings about this, because it seems like the feeling I was getting is that you are at a point now where you're starting to get a little bit more, I don't even know if it's awareness, because I think you've always known, a small part of you has always known that you're special and important. So the feeling I'm getting is more like you're starting to get more clarity on that. But there's still a lot more clarity to be had, right? And maybe not just clarity, but also like a belief in it. Like, more, it seems like it feels like more of you is starting to believe that you are so special and so important. I feel like, okay, the last thing I want to say about these before I start shuffling more is that it seems like the time that you're in right now is like you've started to come out of this darkness, and it seems like it's come in shades, because it feels like months and years are relevant here. So it seems like maybe to an extent, like, the big bulk of what happened like at least a year or two, maybe more. I'm hearing even 3 to 4 years ago. But there's still darkness after, because it was very difficult. It was very difficult. You came out, I'm seeing like a bloody warrior, like covered in dirt and like beat up and tattered. Like, I mean, you came out the other side like victorious. Like, you overcame this. You survived. You survived. You know, even if you were limping along, by the end of it, you survived. And so you have still had a couple years of, like, I don't even know that you fully got out of survival mode. Maybe it feels, and this feels kind of ironic, so it must really mean something. Liminal spaces. This was a big theme in this last weekend with the people in my community, is the space in between two spaces. So it seems like, I don't know if you were in survival mode or not these last few years, but you weren't necessarily in a thriving mode either, or you're just kind of in that space between the trauma and between the thriving. And in the last couple months, it seems like something has shifted for you. Sometime in the last couple months, and since this is obviously for multiple people here in my little soul community, my soul family, for some of you it may be, I'm hearing even up to like 3 to 4 months ago, maybe even a little bit longer. could have even been the beginning of this year. So about 6 to 8 months ago. And some of you, this may be super recent, like in the last couple weeks. But there's been a big shift. There's been a big shift, and it seems like, I mean, the feeling of it is like a clouds parting kind of feeling. Almost as if now you no longer have to be the light, but you are surrounded by light. And it feels like a really sweet energy. This is kind of interesting. Okay. Like it's almost like a bittersweetness. I'm not really sure where this is going. So maybe this is speaking to somebody. There's like a bittersweetness about this new place. Like you recognize the light around you, and you're feeling, whether or not you're conscious of it, you're feeling grateful for it, and there's some relief in this. Yeah, there's a lot of relief. I'm hearing like let go or letting go. Did you let go of something? Or you're finally letting go, you're like relieved and just like letting your intuition, letting like spirit guide you. But there's a little bit of a sadness to this feeling, kind of like an undertone. Like it doesn't feel like it's the bulk of what you're feeling, but it's almost like it's like tinged, like the edges of it have a little bit of sadness in it. And it feels like, I think it's grief. It's not just regular sadness. I think it's grief. And I'm feeling like it might be because of it's something about your old life. I'm hearing some, like, I think I might want to start shuffling now and see if I can get some. Oh, for some of you it was a love. The Two of Cups. Oh, I don't even know if that focused on the card or not. For some of you, you've parted ways with a love. So it might be a romantic love, and it might also be, I'm hearing that it could also be like a love for this life that you were living, which sounds a little backwards, but I think it's going to resonate with you if this feeling is something that you are experiencing or have experienced. But I'm hearing like a comfort, an old familiar sweater, you know. There is, even if it's not I'm not spending a ton of time on this because this is the overwhelming part of this. It's just more to hopefully convey what needs to be said. But like there is always a little bit of sadness when we're moving away from something, even if we're done with it, right? Because there was something that served us there, that fulfilled something for us. And even if it's just the comfort of the familiarity, or in this case, this difficulty. Ooh, like I'm hearing that you wore your trials like a badge of honor. Like your trials are what gave you your confidence, your even maybe your sense of purpose. Like I'm feeling a little speechless. If this is resonating, but sitting a little uncomfortably for you. I think we needed to pause there for a moment to allow some of this to sink in for you. It seems like I did pull out another card, but really quick, I want to wrap up this thought that this badge of honor, you believing that you have strength and wisdom and maybe even your intuition, you believe has come from the trials that you've gone through. That's the badge of honor. You felt like it's almost like your degree of life is what I'm getting. Something, yeah, like your credibility, like that was the foundation you stood on, that you feel like gave credence to your wisdom, your intuition. But it seems like we're kind of coming out of that. So there's like some sadness here. We're acknowledging that. And interesting. So now, like, what you're experiencing is, I don't know. I'm having a lot of, I've been needing to clear my throat a lot. Like, even before I started this message and I was just getting everything set up and doing some test runs, like, I needed to keep clearing my voice. And it feels like there's some significance in there that, like, there's a lot here that you have not spoken on and things that would be very difficult for you to speak on that you've gone through. Yeah, there seems to be some heaviness here, but what came through with this card, hold on, that feels like we're shifting away too quickly from that energy. Are you needing more validation for the things that you've gone through? Are you validating yourself for the things that you've gone through? Oh my gosh, I don't even know if, like, it's almost like somebody needs to, like, sit you down and say, dude, you've been through some insane stuff. Oh my gosh, those things weren't okay. They shouldn't have happened to you. And it's seriously impressive that you've come out this other side. Like, as a light, I'm getting, like, chills. Like, because it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't have made it through that. I'm not saying you specifically, obviously you were meant to, because you are so, your spirit is so resilient. But I mean, like, you shouldn't have had to have been resilient. Some of the things that you've gone through were inhumane. It should not happen to people. So it feels like, I'm getting the feeling that you haven't spent enough time there, like, acknowledging those things to yourself. And that's okay. I think when those are new concepts to us, this validation and sitting with these difficult feelings, it helps a lot to like do that in proxy, where somebody else does that for you. They open up the space. I think that's why therapy can be so helpful. That, like, you just have this, like, expansiveness to sit with this feeling, and also the support, because it is really hard to flex new muscles, right? And to do it in a way that's healthy. So having somebody, I'm seeing almost like a trainer, like a physical trainer, like somebody who helps you train your muscles without you getting injured, like helping you open up the space to experience new things and do it in a healthy way. So in this case, we are, like, seems like what I'm here to do right now is to help you like, maybe try flexing some new muscles. And in this case, it seems like the new muscles, we're validating the things that you've been through, and also some celebration. It doesn't feel like we're quite there yet, so I don't want to rush that, because I really thought that's what this message was going to be about, was like you needing to be celebrated, because you need to be celebrated. But I'm feeling like I'm not meant to rush you into that, because if you're not ready to celebrate that, then the celebration is more for me than it is for you, right? So I'm just gonna follow. I'm gonna follow that. Yeah, I'm getting chills again. So that feels like the right thing to do here. So we are gonna get to the point of celebrating, and just think about that. Let that just kind of simmer. Let that marinate for a bit. That there's celebration for you, and if you're feeling ready to celebrate, I'm encouraging you today to go find, even if you're not ready to celebrate, find one small way, one big way too if you want, but just for starters, let's start off small. Find one small way to go celebrate yourself today, and something that is purely for you, and it doesn't feel like it's meant to be monetary. I mean, follow your intuition, but I think for a lot of you, it's not just buying yourself something. It is something that you get to experience. So if you are buying yourself something, it is, I saw getting a sweet little treat, or maybe even going and getting, I saw like a pedicure in my mind. So something that feels like it is just for you, and that you get to sit in this experience of feeling good for a while. Okay, so I do feel like I'm feeling a bit more complete in that. If you're not also, that's okay. And it feels like, I mean, honestly, that makes sense. It feels like for some of you, you're not going to be ready to move on from that part yet. But this is a part of honoring the parts of us, and also setting healthy boundaries with the part of us. It does feel like we are meant to shift right now. So if there's any part of you that's feeling like, man, like I was finally feeling validated or seen in this way, I want to remind you that we're not going anywhere. We can see and validate you at any time. And I say we because I will, and also you too. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more of that, because you feel like a part of my soul family, and I'm just going to keep doing readings, so it's going to keep coming up, and it'll keep coming up when you need it. That's my job, is to make sure that I am in the right place spiritually, to be able to like receive messages that you need to hear when you need to hear them. And this has come up for me quite a bit recently, so we're gonna hear more about this. Okay, so shifting a bit here, this Six of Swords. I do actually want to pull open the book, because something about this is like kind of tickling something in my brain that I remember about this card that I know is somehow relevant, but it's not coming to me. But the first thing that I saw were like these bubbles around the mushroom, and it's like symbolic of, it seems like a lot of you've been receiving a lot of messages recently. I'm hearing both like internally, like from spirit or higher power, you know, however you reference it, like your intuition, and also essentially hearing like reinforcements of that from the people around you. You've been noticing, I think that's what synchronicities are, right? Like, it's not just a coincidence that, you know, something came up for you that feels symbolic, a number, an animal, a color, something, a phrase, and then you hear it somewhere else from somebody else. Like those are intentional. So you've been receiving a lot of guidance. Like you feel divinely protected, which I'm not surprised. Like, you are such an important and powerful spirit, and you've gone through such difficult things. You've been divinely protected your entire life. But I do want to pull a Six of Wands. Ooh, this is actually an interesting, maybe I'll circle back to that in a second, but yeah, this was, oh my gosh, this is just like a reiteration of there is sadness for moving away from the familiarity. So you're like grieving. I'm like hearing in the way that you were thinking and living, even if you don't realize that you're grieving it, like this lack mentality, another clarity. Like these are difficult things for you to speak on, or that you haven't told anybody, or that you rarely talk about. This lack mentality, bad things always happen to me. I don't want to speak too many of these things because it's not going to serve us to like reinforce these mentalities, but the mentality, the narratives that like come with and the characteristics that you attribute to yourself, like the strength and a strong intuition and things, those things that you were attributing to yourself or experiencing in yourself, those narratives, during that time, you're like starting to release them and learn new narratives and starting to just believe that these characteristics are about you no matter what part of your life you're in. And that feels relevant with the lack mentality. Like you are starting to move into more of an abundant mentality, which has its own growing pains, right? So you may not feel when you're outgrowing things and growing into new things, you may not feel them, you may not believe them all the time, but you're starting to like be really receptive to this abundant energy. And there may be some part of you, like if you've lived in poverty for a long time, there may be some part of you that's like, okay, but I like that I'm money conscious and I try to save and I don't, buy exorbitant things, frivolous things. I like my humility. I like, right? So now that you are like growing that, you are, if you haven't realized it yet, you are still able to be that person. It's not just a discipline thing. So if there's any part of you that's like, oh no, what if I, I'm hearing like the lottery, I don't know if it's called lottery fallacy or whatever it's called, where oftentimes people win the lottery and then end up just blowing all the money like in the matter of a couple months. So they're just right back in the same spot that they were in. You will move into abundance in the time that you are ready to receive abundance and not you're not going to be too big for your britches. Like the lottery is a one-time thing. This abundance we're moving into is a lifestyle. This is a lifelong experience that you're going to have. So they're yeah, this, I think you're kind of getting the image here of like this difficulty of moving away from the familiarity and learning how to like attribute these characteristics to yourself outside of your circumstances. You're not just the person that you are because you're forced into these situations, like forced into poverty, using this example. You are that humble and grounded person, fill in the blank of all of these things that you're worried that you're not going to be if your life changes. You are those things already. And I'm already feeling parts of you don't believe that, but that's okay. That's a part of the process. It's a part of the growth. We're learning how to, talk to those parts of ourselves so we can more fully embody these things, because we want to live in abundance, right? So how can we talk to ourselves through that and take care of our bodies, like listen to our bodies in the way that we need to move and things that we need to do to take care of ourselves, so that way we can be open towards this new life, this abundance that you're stepping into. Because there was a shift in these cards, like communicating to me that like you're in that liminal space between, and you're starting to come to, like, even if you haven't seen it yet, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I think you feel it though. I think you feel it. So that was kind of interesting that I was reiterating that. So it seemed like we needed to communicate more on that. I think I actually want to write this down, because it seems like we need to spend more time in this. But there's some more cards that are about to come out, so I want to feel like that, like I'm doing this message justice by remembering to circle back. Okay, yeah, so we'll definitely circle back to that. Okay, so it was actually interesting too about this. You might be feeling, there's more cards, but this does feel like it needs to be shared. That you might be feeling almost as if you're like maybe kind of stagnant, maybe not stagnant, but you aren't seeing the kind of progress that you're used to seeing. And it's actually, I mean, it's intentional. Holy cow, we're already 41 minutes into this. I may end up making another video. You are so used to seeing like expedited growth because you've like been put through the fire, that you may be experiencing some confusion, like of why it seems like you almost might be stagnant, but it's actually not stagnancy. What I was hearing was like, this is an intentional period of rest for you and recovery. It's just that you're not familiar with it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're not familiar with that. Like, that does break my heart that rest feels so foreign to you that it's uncomfortable. Okay, so I do want to look over, King of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. This came up in my, interesting, hold on, I want to open this up. This came up in, I mean, it's come up in my readings a lot recently, actually, these cards, but also came up in my readings over the weekend. Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, so I think we're actually shifting to where we are moving towards. Oh yeah. Yeah, this feels things are shifting. Things are shifting here in this reading. There's a lot of goodness coming your way. Since the video is already so long, which will make it difficult in my ability to get this posted up for you guys, I am going to stop here. I know there's a sense of incompleteness here. So I'll do my best to post this second video as close as possible to this one. So that way you can just go ahead and I'll link it so that way you guys can watch it. There's goodness coming though. There's relief here. There's a lot of light and expansiveness in this. There's abundance coming. There's encouragement for self-compassion. There's abundance in a way that's going to trump everything that you have experienced before this. and any doubts that you've been having. I mean, it's gonna blow this out of the water. You're not gonna have any doubt because it's just gonna be an overabundance of goodness in your life. You may already be experiencing that. Before you go, I actually felt pulled to take a card from my, I don't know, I call it like my self-care deck, because that's what feels like the purpose of the deck. That's actually my green, which is Oracle. Let's see. Wow, yeah, this feels right. Okay, so we have basil, prosperity, luck, and love. Yeah. And salt, protection and banishing energy. Yeah, this feels like a really great way to end this reading. You have a lot of goodness coming to you, and you're protected. Yeah, we moved through some heavy stuff today. So I don't know how much of the like dust was kicked up for you in this. But either way, I mean, we did a lot of like spiritual and emotional work moving through this right now. So I want to encourage you to make sure you take care of yourself. And I always tell people, when you're not really sure what you're needing, I mean, stop for a moment. Take a breath and ground yourself and ask, what do I need? What do I need in this moment? What do I need today? And you'll get an answer. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I already told you I'm gonna post the second half of this reading, and I'll make sure it's linked in the description and also like at the end of the video or wherever it goes that it gets linked. But I do want to remind you that, oh my gosh, you are just so loved. I love you so much. I was I was like feeling shocked I didn't have like these like Sunday scaries, because I had so much excitement to reconnect with you guys. I had realized I actually, like, because I was out of town for a few days, I had missed connecting with you guys. So I was really excited to like go to bed and get up so I can reconnect with you guys, because I try not to do like collective readings or like any videos like over the weekend. Like I try to make sure that I keep some separation so I can do my own readings, and I mean I already do, but you know, anyway. So it was really cool to like not have the Sunday scaries and be excited to connect with you all. I think that's really the first time I felt that about any responsibility. I mean, I don't want to call this work, you know, because it's not really work. It doesn't feel like work to me, to be like leading this, you know, spiritual family, or like watching over or protecting the spiritual family and receiving messages for you all. So it feels really cool to feel like this is where I'm meant to be right now, and I feel very honored to be connecting with such a sweet spirit, such a special energy like yours. I hope you can feel that love and gratitude through the screen right now. I'm gonna send you a big hug that you don't have to receive. I'm gonna send it just in case, and I will connect with you all again soon.